This is a Hot Pie Original.
Hi, and welcome to the Amy Edwards Show. I'm your host, Amy Edwards, and the whole purpose of this is for us to transform our lives together by getting vulnerable and learning new practices and doing it in the most efficient way possible. So I'm using my voice to help you raise yours and find it stronger and lift it higher and grow in the world. And I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you so much for joining us. Our guest today, Aline Hanle. Oh my God. I feel like a broken record because I say this every time, but so good. I cannot wait for you to listen to this. And she's created this game called Cosmic Compass. And we're actually going to play the game today. It's like a little guidance thing, but it's really cool. And I got so much out of this today. So I'm so stoked to share it with you. Couple business things up top too. Sign up for the newsletter if you haven't yet. It's at amyedwards.com. Subscribe, rate, review, those kind of good things that really help us out as podcasters. And reach out to me anytime you want. You can find me, Amy, at amyedwards.com, spelled just like it sounds, just like this image right behind me. So anyway, let's get started on today. So stoked. Good Life Clothing produces a line of ultra premium basics to ensure you always look your best while being your most comfortable. Yes, please. Good Life was developed by a team of fashion industry veterans who aim to provide the best fitting essentials from the finest materials made in the USA. So Good Life has opened a brand new and beautiful store in the Domain North Side right here in Austin. And I got to check it out recently. The staff was wonderful. The clothes were incredible. And it was just a beautiful space in general. So stop by their new Austin location when you can at the Domain North Side. And if you can't get there, you can go to goodlifeclothing.com and use my code AMY20 to get 20% off your entire order. And again, you can shop online at goodlifeclothing.com or check them out at the Domain North Side in Austin. So look good and feel good. Good Life Clothing. Hello, and welcome to the show. I am excited to report that I went and did a Voilá session, which was mentioned. I think maybe Caitlin Howe mentioned it way back when. Sky King mentioned it. Cam Nelson mentioned it. It's with Kimberly at TK Stretching. And so I went, and it was super fascinating because she did a lot of the spiritual work with me. And so I want to talk about what came up for me and just tell you a moment that I had today as I was processing all of it. So one of the things that she does is she takes you back. Sky talked about this. She takes you back to certain points in your life or past lives that she feels called to share and called to bring you back to, where perhaps you suffered some sort of trauma or something that relates to what's going on with you. And so the first thing she said was 7-year-old you to me. And I was like, do you say that to everybody? And she was like, no, that's just for you. I was like, okay. And I don't relive a lot of my past. I don't think a lot about it. And so I'm automatically like running things through my head, like, I'm not good at this. I'm not good at this. And I told her that too. I was like, I'm saying to myself, I'm not good at this, because she talked about my grandmothers too and some ancestors. And I was like, I feel very disconnected from my ancestors. I don't have a lot of family, so I don't feel connected particularly to that. So, I had a lot of issues coming up around it anyway, already thinking I wasn't going to be good at it. And like everybody else is good at it, but not me. Like you don't give yourself enough cred. And I mean me or any of us, right? And so anyway, I just tried my best. And so when she said 7-year-old you, I just tried my best, but I did have a memory come up. And it was one where my best friend in elementary school, she was really beautiful. And we met in kindergarten, and I just always really admired her. And she's blonde and beautiful. And, her family was all gorgeous and had money. And, like they were just, I don't know. I just always loved her. I really loved her, not just for the way she looked or her family, but she was my friend. And I felt I think there was a part of me that felt kind of chosen, like I was her friend, like that felt good. And I think I put a lot of security in that, which, yes, that's what I'm getting to. Like I did put a lot of security in that, which is outside myself. And as time went by, even in kindergarten, she had another friend that she was like best friends with. And she would often run around on the playground or whatever and hang out with her other friend. And they would tell me I couldn't play with them that day, and they would, she would just basically reject me and go off with her other friend, and which kids do, but it hurt me. And I remember telling my mom about it. And, I didn't really know how to cope with that. It just hurt my feelings. And I did try, and I think my mom probably told me to make other friends and stuff, which I did, but she and I were still around each other. So I think it was about second grade, and that would have been when I was 7, that we were on the playground, and I don't know what we were talking about or what happened, but she slapped me across the face. And even just saying that right now, like I feel it in my body. And it was so upsetting. And I don't think I cried at the time, but I did cry later. And I remember trying to hold it in. And it was just so shocking too. Like your friend slap you across the face, like that's never happened to my kids, and it's not something you hear about. And this was somebody I just loved, and we went on for years, still friends, still best friends. And like, I accepted it. I accepted that treatment. But as we looked at it in that Voilá session, she was asking me, why it hurts so bad. And I think that we got to the root of the fact that I didn't feel chosen. Like I didn't feel like I was good enough. I didn't feel like that. And, that goes way back. And like, we also did some work around the fact that, which therapists have brought up to me too, that when I was a baby, like I got very sick for a month with spinal meningitis and had to be in the hospital right after I was born for about a month. And my dad said they couldn't pick me up. And I was, and so I'm like, I'm sure there's some sort of like baby infant, trauma around that because babies need to be held. So, anyway, so I've got this, security thing going on and this wanting to be chosen so bad and be good enough to be chosen. And it goes all the way up to, when I was in the girl band, which I am going to talk about probably next week. When I was in the girl band and just 10 years ago, and, that fell apart and I felt unchosen in that instance too, and had to go out on my own and, do music on my own. And that was really scary. And so I just wondered, what am I supposed to learn from this? And in the Voilá session, she walks you through taking care of that self, which Aline does too today. She does the exact same technique where you go back and you comfort that child or that other version of you, whatever age it is, and you ask, what do you need? And you listen to the first thing that comes up, and then you continue down that path, giving yourself what you needed at that time. And it is a powerful technique. And I went through the rest of my day yesterday, had other things going on after the session, and I ended up, just feeling kind of down last night. But I got a good night's sleep, and I woke up this morning and I was like, I'm going to spiral up like we talked about with Cam. It's like, I'm going to start my day right. I'm going to be doing all the things I need to be doing. And so I did my practices. And one of the things I've been doing from that Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It book is looking in the mirror and telling myself, I love me. I love you, and I set the timer for 5 minutes and I look in the mirror and I say these things. Well, I've noticed that when I do it, I don't just say, I love you, or I love me, or life loves me. I kind of start riffing on whatever's coming up. And I talk to myself like I would a friend, staring at myself, which I know it's super weird. And if you saw me doing it, you'd be like, I need to leave the room right now. And I would feel sheepish and weird. Like, it's a very vulnerable thing to do. Right. And, Aline mentions this too today. She talks about, at one point in the conversation, she talks about when she talks to herself. And as she was like developing this game that we're going to play today, Cosmic Compass, how she would just talk out loud to herself. It's kind of the same thing. And I think that we are able to have more revelations when we are talking to ourselves, when we are our own coach, which is where we're trying to get to, not asking outside advice, but really trusting our intuition. And so as I looked in the mirror today, this happened this morning, and I stared at myself and I just started saying, you are chosen. You are chosen. And you're totally okay in this moment and now. And isn't it great that that happened to you to give you a deeper understanding, to teach you who you really want to be? You don't want to be somebody that hurts other people. You want to include, you want to be that beautiful soul that's inclusive, that's kind, and that feels chosen, because everyone is chosen in their own way. And I perhaps manifested these particular experiences to show me that. And as I was talking and staring, I was like, I'm so grateful for that. And what a shift. What a shift right then. I smiled. I smiled at myself and I was like, never in my life have I felt gratitude for that. In fact, one time, because my grandmother, I guess, really held on to it, because one time when we were about 20, I ran into her at a wedding shower for my sister that was thrown at her parents' house. And I ran into her. My grandmother was there with me too. And my grandmother, in front of a whole bunch of people, and her mom, my grandmother's like, oh, I remember when Amy came home from school and said, I'm not going to say her name, and said she slapped me. And I was horrified and mortified, because here we all are. And that was not something that hurt me so much then. And still, it was like something I was carrying around clearly until like now. And, I was just horrified that my grandmother said that, but it stuck with me. And a part of me now is like, good for her for saying something. Why not let it out, get it out? So thanks, Ska. And, anyway, though, I just feel like I had never, ever considered feeling grateful for that. Instead, you feel like, how could that happen to me? That makes me sad. It makes me sad for that child. That was me. But maybe if you stare in the mirror for a little while, maybe if you take care of that little person and ask them what they need, maybe you will find too that some trauma can shift in your own life. And then I went to meditate, and my meditation today was just like, I am chosen. This is exactly the path that I need to be on to learn what I'm supposed to learn. And I'm so grateful for that in particular. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, I'm amazed. I say it's amazing because I'm amazed at the shift. I've been emotional in these shows for the past few weeks. I can feel like tears just about, like, it just moves my heart. And it just feels vulnerable to talk about, which is a thing. But that's where the magic happens. When we get vulnerable, when we get real, when we just start talking about stuff. And that is another thing that we're doing in the conversation today with Aline Hanle, who is incredible. Thank you to my friend Mariska, who has Olive and M skincare products. So I'm going to give them a little plug. Mariska Nicholson is amazing, beautiful soul. And she was on my old show, Rocking Life with Amy. And she just connected us one day and said, I think she'd be great on your show. And boy, was she right. So thank you, Mariska. And so she's what I was going to say about getting vulnerable is, as we play the game that she created, Cosmic Compass, so cool. I got really honest about where I am about money in my life and how that's coming up for me right now too. And it's so related to security and all that. And of course, the game is complete and total magic and complete and total, like, exactly what you need to hear. So we do a very short version of it, but you are going to love this episode and this woman who, this being of light, that she was pure happiness. And I had never even met her until she walked in the room today. And it just flowed. And it was exactly what I need to hear. And it was exactly aligned with everything that's been going on for me. So I hope it is for you too, because you're here for a reason. You are listening to this right now for a reason. 100%. So, anyway, I'm just so excited. Let me introduce you to her, Aline Hanle. She is from France originally. She has lived here in the States for, I think about 20 years. And she's a spiritual guide, a mindfulness mentor. She created this game, Cosmic Compass, which you can purchase. And we didn't get into light stance, but she is a light stance certified facilitator. And you can find her at her website, which is alinehanle.com. She calls herself a conscious catalyst. So it's ALINEHANLE.com. And that's her Instagram as well, Aline Hanle. And I'm going to put all the links in the notes so you can find them there as well. But I encourage you to follow her. She is so wise and so incredible. And, I'm always lighting my Palo Santo to start us off. And she immediately starts talking about that as a tool and how she doesn't even need it because she is the tool. Isn't that interesting? That's the goal. We are the tool. These other things are just things. That's right. So let's get started with Aline, and huge gratitude to her for the way she showed up today, which I get the impression is how she shows up in her entire life. Actually, I know it. So may we all, right? That's what we're here for. Okay, so stick around because afterward, I'm going to talk just a little more about that practice. I keep my little amethyst here. Yeah. Let's put it on the board.
Yes.
Why not? And light a little Palo Santo and get a little intentional and kind of cleanse our space just a tiny bit.
Wonderful.
You do a lot of this?
I don't, because I am the machines. So when I walk in, everything is clean.
Everything's always clean.
Because that's the intention.
No, tell me more about this. Get closer to the mic. Tell me exactly. So wait, so you don't do this kind of stuff because everything's always clean because you're the machine.
That's it. Like I removed every single separation between what it is that I think I need with me being what I need.
I love that because we are the tools.
That's it.
All these things are just tools to get us to that place, right?
They are simple.
I'm going to give it to you anyway, in case I like the way it smells.
Yeah, there you go. That would be more what I do.
Like that's kind of what I do.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm really aligned with this.
Yeah.
So tell me how you got to that place.
How I got to that place of knowing.
Knowing that you're the tool. Yeah.
Because of course, 25 years ago, my entire life went down to crash.
No, tell me what happened. I don't know about your life.
Okay.
I don't want to know.
Well, 25 years ago, I pretty much around the same time, I was 24 and my boyfriend at the time left me. I was overweight. My family was completely separated. My dad had passed away. We were not talking with my mom. It was
a lot.
It was a lot. It was a lot. And yet it was what obviously I needed to crack the shell because I could not hold it anymore. There was too much to handle. And at the time I met this guy who was this inspiration for me. He became like a coach, so to speak, but he did not enter in my life as a coach. He entered it as somebody who was in the same fitness room as me and playing piano, like teaching me a couple of things. And then when everything fell apart and finally I broke, to tears, he was the one there asking me what was going on. And for about
where were you living at this time?
In France. I was in France.
Yeah. Where in France are you from?
So I was born and raised in a little place called Châtellerault, which is in between Paris and Bordeaux.
Okay.
You trace a line, you go right in the middle, and then that's where you find my place of birth. And then I lived in the east part of France, right next to the French and Swiss and Italian border in the mountains for about 10 years before coming here to the States.
Okay. So that's where you are at this time.
That's where I was.
And you met him.
And then this guy just gave me about an hour and a half to take everything that I had to, like my stories, all of my stories, my emotional stories that made me the victim of my life and why my life was just the end of the world, right?
Happening to you. That's
it. Mm-hmm. And then after an hour and a half, I was feeling so released and just like, oh, that was not that bad. That's great. And so I asked him, I said, so you see my poor life, it's just so horrible. And then you looked at me.
We laugh.
No, we do. And then at the time, you just looked at me and you said, you told me so many stories that involve so many people who are not in a room with us, who I have never met and probably will never meet. But I still, to me, what the common denominator is to your stories is you. So he says, what in the heck is wrong with you? And I was just,
wow.
In that moment, I was just, you're
like, oh shit.
I was pissed.
Mm-hmm.
I was pissed at that moment.
How dare you blame me?
Exactly.
For all this stuff that's happened, right?
Yeah. I just
think
opened
that's
my
really
heart.
Common.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's why anger is the primary space where sadness has been accepted enough to actually share it. Oh. And then anger will come because sadness was heard, but nothing changes. Mm-hmm. And so what he was telling me, he says, so what are you going to do to change it? And that got me angry because he was not going to come and save me. He was telling me, that's your problem. It may not be your fault, but that's your problem. And I just I don't want it. I don't know how to do it. And so I left.
And then what?
And then it took me about 30 minutes to pace in my house, in my apartment, speaking to myself and literally telling him or telling me, inventing, speaking, just how dare you tell me this? It's just, you don't even know me. And then, well, you're not totally wrong when you say that. But come on, you could have found another way.
I bet that sounded so good in French too. It did. All angry and pissed off. I don't know. That's my impersonation of French. Yeah.
And so
30 minutes is not that long.
It was not that long. I was a quick learner, that's for sure. And
yes.
And then I called him back and I said, listen, I'm not sure why I need to talk to you, but I feel I need to talk to you because it's not totally, it does feel like what you said was the truth I needed to hear, not the one that I was ready to hear, but the one that I needed to hear. Mm-hmm. And we ended up heading back to the bar and grab a glass of wine and start, unfolding what he knew more spiritually, more.
Did you already have a spiritual practice before that? Or were you just kind of, well, that's impressive that you were at least open enough to hear it. Because I think that a lot of times people aren't even open enough to hear it,
Yeah. What I, with the work that I did afterwards, it became clear that all the way to 4 years old, I knew exactly who I was. And at 4, I shut myself down. And because of something that happened in my life that emotionally was too hard to bear, to carry. And so I just removed myself from all of this and lost my ability to connect with myself. Oh. And it took me 20 years until that event where he cracked the shell and reopened me to an idea of reconnecting with myself that was not in any dogmas outside of me. It was an idea of spirituality that actually fitted with what I felt, but no one was, until him, able to actually connect the dot with.
I've been reading a lot about that, how people get so involved in the dogmas rather than trusting how we actually feel. And I subscribe to that too. But I was raised religious and all that. Yeah. So what happened then?
Then
tell me your life story, basically.
Yes.
I want to know.
At that time, he, after that conversation, he gave me the Celestine prophecy from, James.
I remember
Redfield.
that.
And it changed my life because I knew that I could connect with this inner voice, but I really felt that I was crazy because I could hear, I could sense, and I knew. And my mom, all of spirituality, religious ideas were so foreign to me because I was born and raised in an atheist family. And so to me, it was something very foreign.
So they didn't even do anything spiritual, nothing.
Even to the opposite, because my mother lost her father when she was 13 years old of a cancer after her grandfather told her that if she prays hard enough, he will be saved.
Oh, no.
So that was her way to...
breaks my heart.
Of course, right? And again, it was his inability to cope or explain to a child how to cope with it because he could not cope with it himself. And so for her, it was very clear this was not true. And she was going to make sure that her kids would not be exposed to the pain that she has felt. So I grew up with that, which was a little blessing in disguise because when I discovered or reconnected with mine,
everything
it was, yes, right?
Yeah.
it was this idea of I don't have to overcome the dogmas that have been taught, intellectually.
True. You didn't have them all ingrained in you,
Right.
and the guilt
Right,
and
right,
everything else
right.
that can go with it.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I could see that.
but it was also, coming from there's nothing out there. You are born, you live, you die. That's it. Just, get over it. Do the best of it. To, oh my gosh, we are eternal. We are beings that create, that reveals reality. We are amazing. We are powerful beyond belief.
Yeah.
It's like, well.
Is that what that guy was telling you? Or once you read the Celestine prophecy?
It gave me the perception that we were way more connected and we are closer to the divine spark as a reality, as a truth, than being human.
Yeah.
So the humanity aspect is the one that is the part that goes, because it's temporary by design. But what I realize is that's not who I am. That's just a part of who I am. And I cannot be defined by this, therefore, because that will go away. I cannot be defined by Aline in the whole, because Aline will go away.
Mm-hmm.
But the nature of Aline, the essence of Aline will be going to this universe. And that will keep on moving.
Yeah.
And that was,
How long did it take you to get there, though?
Well,
I guess I'm curious about like the process,
It like right away I understood, because I knew, like, this to me made
sense and spoke to you, and you knew.
Completely. But after it was to practice that which I understood and knew, to make it so real for my life, to be an actual a revealing space for what I knew. Like, we can know a lot theoretically. We know in the abstract. I know of Japan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know Japan. I don't speak it. I've never been there. I'm not a Japanese. So there's a difference between knowing of something and knowing something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the practice. So the time that this person really opened my mind to new concept, me probably getting close intellectually, reading books, doing training, just learning. It took me probably, I don't know, I would say 3.5 years to devour every single metaphysical books, Eastern philosophy books, mysticism, theosophy, just name it, intellectually. And until my soul kept telling me enough of reading, you know of enough. Now you need to know. And so you stop reading. You do not read anything anymore. I'm just like, I'm not going to know if I don't read. And it's like, you're going to live it so that you will know it by integrating it. And so it moved into a lot more experiences. Mm-hmm. So, and that's when I moved from France to the States, where the experience of knowing everything to going into the great unknown. You don't speak the language, you don't know the people, you don't know the food, you don't know everything is foreign. It's like landing on Earth from another planet, right? But that's the best experience, because you are so open you have to survive. If you are staying into your little bubble, you're not going to survive, where everything else around you is so different. You have to open up. You have to be vulnerable. You have to be receptive to not understand, not getting it, feeling foolish, feeling stupid. But at the end, everything just made you, or it made me, the most potent variable in my life. Everything else was invariable. It was variable, because I didn't understand people necessarily, or the environment, but what I knew was me.
Yeah.
Because I was the element that was that had been in my life the longest.
So maybe books were like a tool too, and then you were just like, I don't need that.
Absolutely.
And because I feel like you probably got a lot of people in your spiritual training and stuff that were saying, do this or do this or do this.
Yes, of course, and that was needed as well. Until it's the idea that the knowledge comes from the outside in, until it needs to be processed from the inside out.
Yeah,
and for that we need to stop adding stuff from the outside.
Yeah,
that is actually not us, because that's processed. It's like everything that comes from the outside is technically not your truth. It is somebody else's truth, and they can be valuable to awaken yours or connect to something that connect with yours or not make you feel connecting. But it can never be as close as yours.
Right.
Right? Because we are unique. So in order to find that uniqueness, you have to, at some point, detach from every single outside perception in order to define yourself.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
It does make sense, you know, and I've thought that about like cleansing your space and stuff. I just sort of go, you know, maybe, I mean, whatever. But I mean, like, what are we bringing to it? And the same with crystals and stuff. And I'm not knocking everyone that uses them at all, but I just don't, I think that we can have the power within us. What's your view? I'm curious, while you were saying that too, I'm curious about your views on that and on like plant medicines.
Yeah. So, you know, I feel and I live my life like as I am at the source with the level of consciousness at the moment that I can have, which obviously some days is not very high.
You meditate a lot?
I used to.
Oh, you don't even you don't anymore?
No.
Is life meditation?
Yes, absolutely. That's the thing, is that meditation to me is a space where you're connecting to what that is, to what is.
Yeah.
So why would I need to create a special space for me to do it? The special space is
now.
That's it. But all of
You're
these...
advanced. You're advanced. But this is like next level.
What's happening is why do we need these practices? Because we have accepted that this is not who we are. And so we need permission slips to access to that which we truly are. And those are, whether it is medicine, plant medicine, or meditation, or dancing on one foot with the rain coming down, it does not matter. As long as the conscious mind has the agreement that if I do this, I access to that, then I have access to this. So to me, when I understood this and I realized that and I felt it, I was just like, then I don't need anything.
Just by living,
I am
accessing
That's it.
Well, I think we're done.
Well, that's it.
That's it.
Now, can we just be, happy?
Yeah. Are you happy all the time?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Because being happy for me is a natural default, because this is the place of completion. This is what wholeness is. This is the place, we call it happy because happy is the emotional expression of this, but that's simply the wholeness being experienced down here. And so if I choose, and that is a choice that I can do moment to moment basis.
Yes.
Do I have stuff happening in my life where it's not, it doesn't look happy? Absolutely. Because that's what life is. We are living in duality. Duality by default will bring right and left, up and down. Just that's normal. But I can choose to be centered while watching at these waves coming at me and not becoming that wave.
Makes total sense to me.
Right? So,
yes.
So to me, the work is more about systematically coming, like reconnecting with the center instead of trying to control the outside or having to go outside to, that's it, I'm coming back. I need to go back to the center. But that's also part of the path. Like I had to learn and create my own tools in order for me to, because I knew this is where I am. My conscious mind at time forgets that that's who he is.
Yeah. So what are your tools?
So that's one of those.
Okay.
So the game is one of those. I have an intuitive blueprint. And to me, what I love about what I do is that I know that everyone is unique. And so this is not necessarily me that comes up with the tool. This is the clients that shows up, who has the tool already, the blueprint of the tool within himself or herself. And my work is more to deliver the tool that exists already or the strategy that is unique to that person.
Right, like pull that out.
That's it. And said, hey, look, this is how you work. Right? And so it requires to want to make people feel comfortable about who they are. Non-judgment, compassion, kindness, understanding, no matter what. There's absolutely zero judgment on whoever shows up. But those who show up, they're ready for the big dive. They're ready to live at the center.
I'm ready to live at the center.
Let's do
I
it.
am. Well, so like, okay, let's position a problem. Like,
Yes.
so I'm really worried about money right now.
Mhm.
So, but I'm trying not to worry about that
Mhm.
because worry is, praying for
Mhm.
what you don't want, essentially. And I'm just like, I read all the stuff and do affirmations and I stay centered and really try to like focus on what I'm creating.
Mhm.
So what would you do in that situation to shift,
Mhm. So I would remind you that money doesn't exist. It is
an energy exchange. Right?
Okay. So that's the denser version of energy form at the source.
Okay.
So if you worry about this, it's because you perceive scarcity in that form, in that density form.
Okay.
But that's not the fact that you're seeing this is one thing, but you know that at the source you're abundant.
Yeah.
That's the illusion. You don't see the entire picture and you worry about seeing just half of it or a third of it. Because what you need is to go back to the source and remember who you truly are. You are abundant at the source in nature. That's who you are. You cannot not be abundant. It's
I know
impossible.
that.
Okay. So what's happening is now we are looking into why is it that your conscious mind filters the abundance that exists at the source? Why is it that although you know that intellectually, that you can still only see, it's like your
because I look at my bank account.
Exactly. So you're letting the world tell you your worth. You're letting this.
Well, I'd have to pay my rent.
Indeed, you have to. And so what are the 5 different levels of abundance?
I don't know. What are they?
Okay. So there's, when I say not levels, but possibility or capacity for abundance. You have financial abundance.
Sure.
Which is the most acceptable and to the mass consciousness, but it's the one that is the most limited.
Yes.
Okay. There is connection.
Mm-hmm. And it's so funny when I think of the other ones.
Yeah.
There's no limit. There's no limit to my love or any of that. It's like, would I run out for one of my children,
Yeah.
And so I go, well, now why can't I quite get there with that piece of it?
Okay. Well, because you are giving money. It's almost like, imagine you have money here, you have love, you have compassion, you have kindness. Those are executive directors working for you.
Okay.
And what you say is, hey, money, I'm going to pay you a lot to bring me a lot of security. You love, you just go and then you're just like, but you are responsible
You're
for
in charge.
and of your security, of your sense of like defining yourself down here.
Yeah.
Right. So you got to either fire that one or transform his job position.
Okay.
So he is no longer in charge of your security. He is in charge of paying your rent. That's all. You have this.
Okay.
Love now is in charge of your security.
Self-love. Let's be more clear on that.
That's it.
So I need to be clear on that right now.
That's it. So when you know and
God love, whatever, divine.
Yes, divine
Source,
yourself,
whatever you want to call it,
which is you.
Mm-hmm. Which is you,
right? So when you are completely reconnected with your abundant connection to love, then security is here. Nothing can happen to you. There's never not enough. There's so much abundance. There's so much. I just know whatever, because remember one thing. We don't need $20 million. It would be nice eventually.
Yes.
I don't know what to do with it yet, like right now. But what is important is
I don't know what to do with
I mean, what would I do? Like, I would pile it.
I guess I would go buy something.
But that's it. Maybe, but I don't really need it. Like really, abundance is not having a lot. Abundance is the ability to meet that which come in front of us. When you need to pay for your rent, abundance is, I'm meeting you here. This is delivered.
Right. And I mean, a part of me is like, you've made it this far. Everything's always okay.
So
relax.
That's it.
Okay. So I'm getting there, but it's been like an up and down for the last year.
Okay. So this, and that's how I explain them too. Within ourselves, we have the part of us that lives at the source, and that is the queen. The queen lives at the source.
Great.
Right?
I'm there.
But we also have a king inside of us. And that's the king is the king of this 3D reality.
Okay.
The queen is the queen of the 5D reality. She has access to the creative energy in abundance.
Is she in men too?
Of course.
Okay. So this is
For everybody. Everyone
just want to clarify.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's happening is when the sacred union is happening, when the queen and the king union is perfect, because they know their position, they know their job, they know their genius. Then they come together because they are different geniuses. The queen's genius is to know. She knows everything. She has access to everything.
Okay.
But she's stuck up there.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have the capacity to be densified enough to be creating this life down here. So she has this executive director extraordinaire that she chose as you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you, that's the CEO, that's Steve Jobs. I got this great vision, but I cannot do it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hiring you, executive director, to take that vision and make it happen. What's happened when that happened? That's that's the dream team. Everything unfold in the beautiful dream. What's happening is the king has been made to believe that this is kind of fluffy and it's not real and it's whatever, So I'm going to take control and I'm going to say, because I need the control because I don't feel safe. And so what happens is that I am going to start saying, what would makes me feel safe? Well, I don't know. So I'm going to look out there. People tell me that if I have a lot of money, I'm going to be feeling safe. Well, so I'm going to make a lot of money. The queen is just like, no, that's not the best way to do it because making money is not part of our purpose. And the king's like, whatever, I just need security right now. I don't care about the purpose because security is the primary thing that what we need. That's the first chakra. If we are not anchored then there, all the other ones will be feeling like it's hardcore. Yeah. It's a boot camp.
Off.
Mm-hmm. Right?
Balance.
So what's happening is the queen understands why the king is feeling like this. Like imagine you have a worker that works for you and he's just not feeling loved. He's not feeling appreciated. He's not feeling recognized. He's not feeling validated. So what we need to do with ourselves, which is what self-love is to remind ourselves that we are just fine, that all of the stories that we are not enough are untrue. This is where my story started 25 years ago, where all the stories of me not being enough for my mom, my dad, my boyfriend, my friends, my sister, my everything, my world, was all stories that I've created because in certain circumstances, when something appeared broken, my parents divorced, doesn't feel good. And I, with my limited understanding of the world and the universe and the design, I established a connection with life should be like this because I can feel like I know it exists like this, but I'm experiencing it like this. So now there's a dichotomy between shoulda, woulda, coulda, like the should, mm-hmm. And then what is. My mind cannot live in two different reality. He's going to have to create a bridge to reconcile these two reality, and that's my story.
Yeah.
And then we are piling up stories between 0 to 25 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And then we are living through our consistent stories that are purely limiting our extraordinary creative genius.
So you just create new stories.
That's it. You are, and that's the thing. It's not about erasing the other stories because they are part of who we are and they made us. But what we need to create is stories that are, it's like a software overriding the previous stories.
Well, so what are your stories? And do they come true?
Well, so my stories, for example, was due to the father that I had. I didn't feel empowered with my divine masculine because my father was an alcoholic, violent, and sick all the time. So what I have is a mirror of a divine masculine handicapped. So that's my story. It's like, I cannot feel powerful because the divine masculine cannot be empowered. And my other story was my mom was a victim of my dad, very submissive. So I have a king disempowered, and I have a queen submissive that doesn't speak, that remains silent. It doesn't look good for me.
No, it doesn't. I don't know what that leaves.
That's it. So I'm just like, but what I know is because everything is perfect, there's a reason for me to have consciously chosen that woman as my mom and that man as my dad. And that is the story that I need to unfold. Why in the heck? I'm pretty smart. I don't think I would choose to come down here to live, in hell. So there's got to be a reason why my dad is perfect with who he is and my mom is perfect with who she is, for who I desire to become, for my own path. They are not perfect according to what the mass consciousness is telling me a perfect mom and a perfect dad should be. But in my story, they are perfect. So I need to shift back the mirror away from out there inside of me. And it's about, why is having a submissive mother, how can that empower me? And how can having a disempowered father empower me?
And how did you find that to be?
Because it is, if they were all powerful, I would not be who I am today. I would not know.
You wouldn't know the not power side.
Exactly.
The duality shows you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They show me the darkness so that I could find my light.
Yeah.
Because I knew where not to go. So
you were showing yourself that.
That's it. And so my mom is amazing, having been submissive at that time. And my dad has been an amazing father, not because he was present and empowered, but because he was disempowered. And I just love them so much.
You were a great dad because you were disempowered.
And I can tell you that actually when he died physically, it was when he became the most powerful, because not only he was not powerful in his emotionality, in his emotional self, intellectual self, or physical self down here, but now he didn't even have the physicality to be here present. I could not even be angry at him. I could not even right. So, but again, why did he leave so early? And he actually left after he succeeded to get out of his alcohol addiction. So I was really pissed. At the time I was just like, oh my gosh. It's like, now you're great. You're awesome. You're like the perfect dad and you're leaving me.
And now you die. And now you're gone.
So it kept the story going with, he needs to be absent, because as long as he's going to be here physically and empowered, I will not find mine.
You won't learn what you're supposed to learn.
That's it. And I can tell you that my dad has been more present while he's not in his body, in his embodiment, because I can sense his energy all the time.
Wow.
And he has guided me for the past 25 years, more than he has done for the first 25 years.
Yeah. I sense my dad too.
Right?
I do. And it's powerful.
It is. It totally is, because it really reconnects again with the sense of, we are not this physical experience. We are partly, don't get me wrong, we are partly here, but this is only it's the screen that we are looking at who we are. It's not who we are.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it's just, again, it's like you're sitting here telling me this when I'm going through this in my own life, which I'm going to talk about in the intro. And that's exactly what's been coming up for me. So yeah, beautiful way to put it. Good Life Clothing speaks to how we live now, because while we might not be dressing up, we still want to dress well. Good Life is American made from the finest, highest quality materials, and their core collection of premium essentials keeps you looking good and feeling great. And I am speaking from experience. I have worn their clothes and they're amazing. Good Life just opened a new store right here in Austin too, at the Domain North Side. So you can stop by that Austin location and get 20% off your entire purchase using the code AMY20. That's AMY 20. And that code is also valid on your entire order online as well at goodlifeclothing.com. Again, that's goodlifeclothing.com. And the code is AMY20. Elevate your game with Good Life. So tell me a little bit about the history of this game, Cosmic Compass, because It's really impressive. I mean, it looks like something you buy at Target, it's like really super professional and beautiful. And I don't know, I'm just super impressed. 2 or more players, age 16 to 99. So, tell me about the evolution of this, please.
Yeah. All right. So, in 2008, I was doing what I'm doing. Pretty much, I was a coach, and I had clients who, the message that I had at the time was really about self-empowerment.
Were you coaching at this time? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you evolved into a coach first, because you have your titles are, spiritual guide, mindfulness mentor.
Right.
And I don't know what light stance is, but you're a facilitator of that. So you'll have to tell me what that is too.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you evolved first.
So I was a fitness instructor for 17 years. And so I was helping people finding their balance in their body. And I realized that because the body is just a screen, I was wasting my time. I had to go into moving into the soul.
You're like another type of fitness instructor.
Exactly.
Your physical fitness, now your spiritual fitness.
That's it. Mm-hmm. So I moved into this coaching, more of the mind, more of the soul. And in 2008, I had this week where I had 4 clients who have been coached for between 3 months and 6 months, who came, and I always, I told them, I said, I think your soul came together as it was like supposed to happen.
Yeah, of course it was.
Right? Absolutely.
Yes.
And they called me that week asking me to, something happened to me. What would you do? And that really, really got to me, because I was just like, what in the heck? We've been working for 6 months of self-empowerment. The last person you need to ask that question is me. Mm-hmm. Look at you in the mirror and ask yourself the question until you get the answer. Don't default to me. I don't have your answer. And so, but I realized at that time, that's it. You know what? I'm done with this. Like, if I want to feel purposeful.
And it made you feel like you weren't doing a good job.
I'm doing the opposite.
They're just looking to me for answers.
Exactly. Now. It was codependency. I was creating codependency.
I bet a lot of spiritual guides experience that.
Probably.
Too.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree. Yeah. And
spiritual codependency, is that what you called it?
Yeah. That's
interesting.
It. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so that day, I literally went on my knees, looked up, and I said, listen, this is very clear. You got 48 hours to send me something unusual, to let me know how I can help people help themselves. If in the next 48 hours, I do not have anything that comes unusual to my awareness, I'm out of this business and I go work at HEB. That's fine with me, because if I decide consciously to be working at the cash register and I am a cash register person, then I am in purpose.
Sure.
So therefore, so be it. Now, I just have
to... Do you ask for signs a lot?
I do receive them all the time, but
if
at the
paying
time,
attention.
Yes, and that's the thing.
Yes,
that was my king's going to make sure that for 48 hours, I'm going to be on the lookout to everything that is unusual. But let me tell you, this is the deal. So I'm just like, you know what, it's going to happen or not. I'm fine with this.
Okay,
and of course, in the 48 hours that followed, the first was the night. That night, I sleep always very, very well. And that night, I woke up at 2:30 with a design, which is the design that is now that, but it was one dot and then 6 lines on the side. That was it.
That like on the box.
It was just that, and then 6 lines like this.
Okay,
it was not even colors or whatever. It was just. It was like a drawing of a kid, like 1 dot and then 6 lines. And I'm just like, I'm not waking up for this. I'm sorry. And she kept telling me, you didn't tell me to wake you up for this. You told me to do something unusual, which waking up at night for you is very unusual. Just like, dang it. Okay, fine. I'm getting up, I'm drawing it so that I don't forget. And I go back to bed in about 20 seconds. I got up, I look at this, I'm like, well, thank goodness my soul knows me.
Because it's a circle with some lines.
That's going to be a tough one. And, but we were not yet within, like at the end of the 48 hours.
Okay.
So I was just like, hey, you know what? It's one thing. That's fine. And I know also how I work. I love like mystery, like, Sherlock Holmes, like having the clues and
figuring things out.
Oh my gosh, yes, I just love this. And I do. And the number 3 for me is when I get the number 3, it's success. When the 3 comes, I know that it's a heck yes. So I'm just like, the likelihood is I'm going to have 3 clues and I'm going to have to put them together, right? Well, so that second day, I have a client who calls me out of the blue. It was not, she called me, she was not supposed to call me that day, but she had an issue with her son who she says, listen, I've just lost it. My son wants to, like, he needs to do some math and I cannot, like, he doesn't get it. It just doesn't get it. And so I got angry and I just don't know how to do it. And then I tell her, well, the best way to teach somebody is, and especially a child, is through game. Like, just don't make it about the math, make it about the game. Like, I know you're going to find a way to make it lighter. Like it's obviously,
make it fun.
That's it. Make it fun. Right. And then, of course, here I am. Just, that is unusual. She should not have called me. And what is it I'm telling her? Game. Now I have the clues. This clues number 2. Okay. I still totally in the dark at that point, right? Mm-hmm. And then the next day was when my husband, my sister-in-law one of them lives in Houston, and we were going to spend the weekend there, which is unusual. And what is unusual is that my husband was flying back in Houston, and instead of driving back to Austin and for all of us to go back to Houston, I had to drive myself with the kids. Never was in the driver's seat because I was always the passenger, being taken to Houston when we went to see her. So never pay attention to the drive. So I can feel the stress of me, little French, trying to drive in this Houston area. And I'm feeling my heart chakra, my third chakra totally, like straining and saying, well, I need to find a way to reopen this. Like, how do I move the energy again and let go of that not feeling powerful in this? Well, at the time, it was MapQuest. Well, when you're in Austin, you want to go to Houston, MapQuest it.
Print it out.
That's it. Right. So as soon as I got the MapQuest directions, I can feel my third and fourth chakra reopening. And I was just like, that is interesting. Like, I was strained, stressed, and then I got the direction, and then I got released. So I said, that is unusual because it's connected to me going to Houston, which is not every day. So I got my 3 clues. Mm-hmm. And so I was just like, so what if this is the same thing? This is not a direction to go from A to B down here on this earth, but it's the direction to go from something to clarity, like confusion to clarity. And so confusion is always the question. Who am I?
Yeah.
What should I do? Just like, that's the confusion. The clarity is, that's what you need to do. So now I looked at the design and I said, there's 6 clues that will give me the direction to go from confusion to clarity. And those 6 clues were just like going from Austin to Houston.
Just like your clues.
That's it. Exactly.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So the first one is the point of departure, which is at the center here. It's your question. The destination is Houston.
Uh-huh.
The path is the most direct way to go. This is what that's what the MapQuest was giving me. It was telling me, watch out, there may be some road or on the way that are going to be blocked, but no problem because there's a way out. There's a tool to overcome the challenge. You can stop, and you will have to stop to get some gas. And if it's a long journey, because if it's between, Key West and San Diego, you may need a hotel to relax. You don't have to stop along the way, but you need a place to recharge.
Okay.
And so now this is your soul translating to you. It's the queen speaking to you. The king says, what is it that I'm supposed to do with my job? The queen is going to tell you, you need to go there. in order to go there, you go take this path. Watch out on the way, because this is what will challenge you. But no problem, you have the awareness now. If you meet this challenge, just use this tool and you will be overcoming your challenge to get back on the path to head to the destination. The fuel is what keeps you going on your journey to get there. And the home is where, if ever you get too challenged, you're not paying attention, you're not using your tool, you're going to use your fuel and feel low. Just go back home for a moment, and then you can refuel, look at your challenge, realize what you've done, use your tool, overcome the challenge, get back on the path, and go to your destination.
Bam. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, so you started mapping this out.
So I mapped this out, and within a week, I had a prototype. I went to Michael's. I was like, well, what am I going to do? Like, how do I never made a game? And those are the two different clues that I added after. It's little quotes. Little
I love
quotes.
it.
Yeah. And these are the chakras. Which chakra is that?
And then what are these?
Those are the cards that you will place around the... Yes.
Oh, I see.
Right?
I see. They work for every single one.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is so cool. And so I mean, it's an extension of a tarot deck, kind of,
It
or
is
an oracle deck
for the 21st century for somebody who speaks English, or technically the idea of translating it right now in Spanish and French is
that what you're doing right now?
Mm-hmm.
How did you get this made? This seems intimidating, and was it a long process?
So I created the first prototype about a couple of months after I had the idea, and then this prototype I made 100 of them in my kitchen.
You did?
Yes.
I'm so impressed.
Stamped and everything.
Oh my gosh.
And then when it came, the game, or the evolution of the game became that people were asking me to travel to go and do it. So I had it printed on a canvas that I could roll to travel more easily.
Okay.
And then it was time it was in 2016, and I felt it's time for me to make it available for the mass. But in order to do it for the mass, I had to let go of the way I was attached to it when I created, because the primary one was very mystery school-like. It was very it was Egyptian mystery school. It was underground kind of thing. And there was the chakra card instead of focus card. It was very there was angels and it was a little bit more ethereal, a little bit more esoteric, which not the mass consciousness is not. It does not really relate to this.
No, you needed something a little more tangible and easy to understand, right?
So,
not so esoteric, not trying to figure out. That's what tarot is. I mean, when I'll do you're like, maybe, and you're translating kind of. And this is clear, I'm assuming.
That's clear.
Clear.
Very clear. There's no attachment to any. I have people who play it who are Buddhist, Christian, Catholic, Zen. I have people who are Muslim. I have people who are all kinds, because there's no denomination. It's just
good.
It's just a game.
It's just a game.
It's just a game.
It's just a game.
And then I, in order to relinquish
sort of.
yes, it's just a game.
Wink, wink.
And I actually said, I'm going to use Google because I don't know somebody who can do this. So I'm just going to trust that Google is me.
Okay.
Reaching out to the universe. So
Google is me. Yeah. I love that, because I see things like we were talking about money, and I see things and I'm like, that's it, just showing me it's possible,
That's it, right? Mm-hmm. So I said, okay,
Google is me.
Call me Google. And
I love it.
So you just established the rule of the game. So I tell Google, I want to find the perfect alignment with the person who knows how to take this game to the world. So I'm going to use you to do it. And what we're going to do is I'm going to write names that comes to me. Like I'm going to, the hashtags.
Sure. Words, whatever, keywords.
Yeah, keywords. And then intuitively. And when it's done, I'm going to click. And the third one, because it's number 3, is going to be, the first 3 ones are going to be the one that I choose. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to send all of them the same email. And then I'm going to see what comes back to me.
Great. I love this process.
Right? So I did. 2 came back. And on the 2, the energy of 1 was, heck yes, that's you. So I reached out to that guy. And about a couple of months later, I mean, it was really about surrendering what it looked like before. And I said, listen, I am not the genius in that. I trust that you got chosen. You know your genius. I was chosen with that. I did my genius. I have to let it go. And he came back. We barely changed the first draft that he did.
Did you have to spend a lot of investment? Did you have to get an investor like to make these?
I was.
Supplied the money? Because I mean, these look like they're just so beautiful in quality. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So voila. And then, it's just having to play and, inviting people over. And then it has been more of a word of mouth because it's an experience that you have to experience it to sell it. Like it's not, you cannot sell it. You have people, they are ready to step on it or not. And as consciousness has evolved in the past 10 years, I mean, everyone, like it's more and more and more.
Yeah, because I was going to say it must have been about 10 years that you've had this now, right?
2008 is when it started. So yeah.
Okay, we're going to play it.
Yes, let's do it.
I can't wait. So
the first thing that you're going to do is obviously to explore. You want to explore. It's like exploring the universe or exploring here down here. It's just what is important for me to know. Now you need to have a question.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to grab this little pawn in your hand.
Okay.
And then you're going to ask yourself a question that is formatted in such a way that it's not going to be a yes or no answer, obviously, but it's more a what is important for me to know about. It can be about money, for example.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking of going a little bit bigger about finding security.
Okay.
And I know that's self-love. But actually, yeah, let's hone in on specifically money.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is important for me to know
about money?
About money.
You're just going to take 30 seconds and then you're going to put that question in your heart chakra.
Okay.
And then you're just going to breathe through it. Let it breathe in. So that's when the queen and the king just connect.
Great. I feel slightly emotion.
That's good.
Okay.
Okay. So you're going to place that little pawn in the center of the game, of the compass. Yeah. And then you're going to grab this first card deck. You're not going to look at them.
The focus deck.
Right. You're going to shuffle them.
Okay.
Still focusing on your question.
Okay.
And when you feel ready, there's one card that is going to talk to you. You're not going to look at it. You're going to give it to me. We're going to place it face down on the focus plate.
Great. And these are the chakra cards.
Mm-hmm. They're connected to the chakra. We call that focus, but they are connected. Okay. And then
I'm nervous now. I feel like maybe I should have spent more time. Okay.
Oh.
No.
So we're at the right time.
Okay, good. Okay.
All right. So same thing.
So here.
Same thing. You're going to shuffle the cards.
Shuffle the cards.
And then you're going to pick one card out of this one. Okay. Trust yourself. She already knows. The queen is the one picking it up.
I'm going to do it 5 times. I'm going to pick the card after that. 3. 5. I like the number 5.
Yeah.
5. All right. Let's see.
Yeah. You're going to give it to me.
Okay. There it is. That's the wisdom deck.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then this last one
is cosmic compass deck.
There. So this time you're going to shuffle it as well. And you're going to pick up 6 cards that you're going to place face down on every single one of these 6 placements right there.
Does it matter what order? Or?
No. It's your intuitions. It's your queen already knows which one goes there. So
all right.
Trust her.
Okay. Yeah, I know. It's really leaning into trust because you're like, am I doing this right?
Yes.
Which is my whole thing all the time. I know. I'm always like, am I doing it right? Okay. This is my last one. Now, let's see. All right. And you don't care what order.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go in the order and I'm going to lay them out. Okay. So I've laid my destination card, my path. That's the one on top, it feels like. And then my challenge, which God only knows what that is. Okay. The tool. And I like how these cards are laid out because they're laid out like, and then the fuel. Hold on, let me focus.
Yeah.
The fuel and then the home. Where do I go back to? Yeah. Okay. And I
Awesome.
like these because they're laid out kind of like, that was clever the way you did those, like it's like Trivial Pursuit where
Right.
there's one of every
Right.
color
That's it.
on each card.
Right.
All right. So
Okay.
now we're laid out. I'm going to take pictures as we go too,
Oh,
because
yeah.
we need to be able to show this. So, okay, great. So there we are. Now what is
So
the first step?
Now, what we know is your question. What is important for me to know now about the concept of money, or which we know is connecting to security, prosperity,
Yes.
abundance.
Relating to my life.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
So the first card that you're going to turn over is the first card you picked. And then,
Okay.
so that it's going to narrow down the chakra that is at play. Where is it that you are holding the energy? And we want to know what that is. And it's also going to help us interpret the rest of the game, because you're going to see that it's going to give us a filter to how these cards, the other ones, work. So
What was as you were developing this game and you got those clues and you had that happen, what was the chakra that it was connected to for you?
when I created the game,
Yeah,
there was, for me, it was definitely the first chakra.
it was.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Like your spiritual purpose and stuff. Of course, look what it is. Of course it is. I was like, I was figuring. So, of course, it has turned up red: security, health, financial stability, sense of belonging. I was thinking
But yeah.
it probably has to be my root chakra. So, okay.
So we know that the queen is in.
So
and
far,
she's like,
so good.
Yeah, so far. Well, okay.
And here I doubted that when I laid it down. Okay.
So
No
it's-
more doubt.
That's it. So now we know that it is really a belief that is connecting to one of these, and security is definitely the
Okay.
ones that most. Right.
Look
Okay,
at
so
this.
you are going now to, we want to know, like, where is it that you're going with this question? Like, what is important for me to know now about the concept of money?
Okay.
Well,
And that's going to be the destination?
Yeah.
Okay. What's
So you're-
important?
you're
You
gonna-
can turn it
You're
over.
going to take
Oh,
it.
I'm going to turn it
Oh
over.
yeah, and you're going to read the sentence that is red.
Yes,
You see
because
that?
they all correspond. I'll show there's like all different colors. And so this says train your psychic abilities.
This is where you're heading.
Okay.
So what your soul is telling you right now is that what you need to know about money is not about focusing on money. It's about focusing on
Which is
your.
totally what you said earlier too. And which I know.
And that's the thing. You're worrying about something that has nothing to do with where the abundance is. Focus on
It
your.
feels very real. Just
Because
saying.
yeah, that's it. That's the way. It's like if you focus on your psychic ability, which is really your capacity to connect with the subtle, money will appear.
To connect with what?
The subtle. Everything that is intuitive, psychic
my
ability,
intuition
your
and all that.
tuition and all
Okay.
of this. Okay.
Train my psychic abilities.
Yeah.
That's my destination.
That's it. That's what you want to go there. For you, prosperity, money, all of that is there.
All right.
So what do you need to do to get there? This is the
Tell
orange.
Me. Okay. What do I need to get there? I need to make a smart choice now. Oh, shit.
Okay.
Okay.
So do you know what that choice is?
No.
Okay. Because when you were
Maybe
picking
it's simply choosing to believe what I'm learning right now.
all right. Okay.
That seems like a smart choice.
That's the smart choice. Because the worry
Right.
choice is never
It's not.
a smart choice.
No, it's
right?
not.
But so if I tell you, and that's when we play together, when we do, when I am in the little thing that I add on, but you don't need it because you came up with it right there. But we can go deeper.
I get
so,
it. I get it. If somebody said, "Oh, that means I need to hustle my ass off and create a course,"
That's it.
You know?
Yeah.
like you could say, "How can we take that further?"
Right.
I'm already there.
Right.
So I know.
But
I
there's
know.
also there's a belief that you have about money and about worrying that actually is held by your 13 years old self.
Why 13?
Your soul says 13.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
And this is where the story started. Like you anchor the story about money and
Okay.
worrying that started there. Like security for you started as money is the primary way for me to feel secure.
okay.
So if you go back to 13 years old, what is the first memory of you that comes up with security? Feeling safe.
I don't know. I mean, I was in 8th grade.
Okay.
I guess that was the year like I started my period and
Okay.
changed in that way. But I don't feel a lot related to money right then. you know?
Okay, so if I say that it's related to responsibility.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I did feel more responsible. My sister was graduating from high school, and so I would have been, wait a minute, let me think. Yeah, and I went to Europe for the first time, now that I think about it, and I guess I saw more of the world, you know? I'm not sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And what's the relationship with your sister? Like
That's interesting. And as far as money goes, you know, I just confessed this to her recently, and I was like, I worry about what you think of me and how I've managed my money. And I had a lot of shame around that. And I had to just come clean and tell her. And I was like, here's my situation. And, I feel nervous because we both inherited the same amount of money from my father. And, she's like super smart about it and all that. And I'm like, more like, woo. And so our situations are different now. And I had to just tell her the truth. And she was like, look, I'm not trying to pry or judge you, but I do want to know your situation and just be there for you. And I was like, right. I just put it in my own story spin on it where you're going to judge me and I'm going to feel shame and bad, So, I mean, if there's anybody in my life that I worry about with it, it's her. So, I don't know.
Yeah. So,
and she was headed off to college and she got like a credit card and all this stuff. And then, I don't know.
Yeah. So, so there's the story right there that when you're smart, you can be secure because you can make money.
Right.
But that's not true.
Okay, good. Because I'm not smart all the time.
No, but because you're not smart, you're intelligent.
Right.
Your intelligence is your money making. It's not smart as I'm smart because the world is going to recognize me in my smartness, in my IQ. It is your EQ that is full of worth and wealth.
Yeah.
And so most of the people will not understand you. It's almost like your smartness is to go that route, the route of the subtle, the route of the intuitive, the route of the non-visible.
That's why the smart choice is to tap in and trust that.
That's it. If as soon as you say, this is the smart choice, instead of me thinking that the smart choice was in order for me to find security, and it's not just for you, but it's the belief that if you are smart, you have a diploma, you have a master something, a PhD, you are safe and secure because it was true for your sister.
Because I start telling myself this other stuff like I'm not capable and all these things. Oh, I'm just a girl, or whatever it is. And the negative beliefs get in there too.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that detaches you from money because money is there. But if it's like, well, but I'm not capable of getting it. Okay.
Right.
We won't give it to you. Then we'll give it to somebody else who thinks it deserves.
Right.
So, but the thing is, you have to trick the tricker. The tricker is always the conscious mind with this story. What we need to do is just to get around it and just like, okay, well, I'm getting to you money, but I'm going to take the back door. I'm going through the intelligence, the intuition, the intuitive, the subtle, that I'm going to reconnect with the connection with abundance. And abundance is going to attract the money.
Well, I feel like too, I'm hearing this kind of stuff all the time, like literally all the time.
Yeah.
Like just believe in all that. And literally I did this session that I'm going to talk about in the intro. And she was like, you're on the universe's payroll. And I was like, I'm okay. I'm on the universe's payroll. I literally wrote it in my book today. Right. But I'm getting told this from everywhere. And am I going to choose to believe it or not?
That's a smart choice.
Right. And so many times, and I think I'm probably speaking to a lot of people right now, so many times you're like, but not me.
Right. And that's where, how do you
Works
know
for
that?
Everybody else, but apparently not me.
Yeah. And that's the worry part. The worry is you're 13 years old.
Yeah.
You're 13 years old she's like, well,
which I was super awkward right then.
Okay. So that's the thing is that she wanted security. She wanted to belong. And she didn't feel that
always.
way. Okay. So
that's the story of my youngest
So now
self.
that you are you know all of what you know.
Yeah.
It's almost like think of it as your 13 years old self has sent you on a mission in the future and said, okay, you go out there, you bring back the information for me to feel good about myself and you come back and pick me up. And now you have to do that. Like she's 13, but she's holding the power of the creative power in your past through the worry filter.
I love it.
So talk to her, like what she's going to be like, but I may not be capable.
Mm-hmm.
And what are you going to tell a 13 years old who doesn't feel capable? You're not going to be like, well, yeah, sure, that's true. Forget
You're
about it.
probably not.
Exactly. Right?
I can't imagine telling my kids that.
Exactly. Right. So
I say that's preposterous. That's ridiculous.
So at the time, you're going to tell her, listen, let's make a smart choice together.
Yeah.
What would make you feel powerful right now? What would make you feel capable?
Believe it.
That's it.
Right.
And then you're going to act on it, right?
Okay.
Okay. So what's the challenge?
The challenge
that gets in the way of you
boy.
making that smart choice, really.
That is going to be yellow.
Mm-hmm.
You tend to feel lonely. The challenge. Yep.
It's true. Okay.
I feel like I'm on my own.
So here we go. That's the story of the king.
Yeah.
Because he sees himself separated.
Yeah.
The queen belongs to all that is.
Right. And I know this. I do. I know stuff. I know opportunities are all around me. I tell myself all that, but I do tend to feel lonely.
Okay.
That's my challenge.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
that's
feeling
my challenge.
Is
I feel separate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So same thing. That's your 13 years old. But I'm not capable. But I'm not big enough. I'm not great enough. I'm not connected enough. I'm not enough.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to like? That 13 years old has a story, which this is where you start, and that's fine. But it's like she needs to hear a different story for her to get out of and feeling empowered to move forward, because she has the emotional hold back, and the creative energy is moving in density first through the emotional density. So if she's holding back all of this abundance through the belief system, then you have only the residual of it.
Okay.
So she needs to be relinquishing the energy back to you, because you are making her feel that it's safe to be down here.
Okay.
She doesn't know it, but you do.
Okay.
And so your knowledge, your wisdom, your compassion, your understanding is there to drag her out of her isolated space.
Like you're going to be fine.
That you're going to be fine, because you're not alone. I am here with you.
I just did this work yesterday too. This is crazy. This is crazy. All right. So,
okay. So what's the tool to use when you feel alone?
Give me some tools.
Yes. So that's the green.
Start anew.
Exactly. That's the new story.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
The new story.
The new story. Being alone is not a story. You got to create. You got to override the story of that. I am alone. I'm not capable. Like all of these stories are obsolete for what you have become.
Yep.
And so it's, what are the stories now?
Stories are, if I'm starting anew, I'm connected and things are all around us. We're all together. Mm-hmm. And, I really do believe that. And
that's the thing, is that your child, your inner child, is going to hear you. But it's like me when I tell my kid, you're going to be fine. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, right? Well, how do I know this? It's not because I tell him. It's because I showed him by doing the thing, right?
Right.
So she doesn't need to just know that you know it. You need to show her, okay, the reason why we are connected. How? Well, look, I just met Aline. This is amazing. You know what she like, and then this is proving to her, show me that your life down here on earth is connected, is powerful, is abundant, is amazing. Mm-hmm. And that's really taking all the pieces of your life that are already here and transforming them to support your belief, your new belief.
Okay.
Makes sense?
Yes. Yeah. Makes total sense.
All right.
So the fuel. What is my fuel? Mm-hmm. Fuel is blue. Create artistic work. Okay.
Okay. That's everything is technically coming from the queen is artistic.
I agree. Yeah. Right. It's all art.
That's it. So as long as you know that what you do is art, you are just fueling yourself. You're plugging to her, not to him.
Yeah. I think this counts.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yes. That's artistic. Absolutely.
It all counts, actually. It
does.
Anything that we're creating, right? Mm-hmm. I think the key word is create, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. That's fuel. And now I get to do home?
Yes.
Purple.
So home is kind of like It's the comfort zone. It gets us back to a place where we don't have to push and pull, and it feels comfortable, like because that's what we know. The danger is to stay there.
Okay.
Because it is comfortable.
No, I don't want to stay comfortable.
That's it. So
yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. It says, are you ready for this? Rely on a male figure, which is exactly the opposite of what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
The fuck?
But because the security, and so look at this. This is
Okay.
a male figure is the king.
Okay.
The king knows that's his kingdom. The 3D is its kingdom. You do not trust the king, that the king can do a good job, because you're like, you are not capable of giving us this prosperity, this. That's the story.
So I'm my own male figure?
Mhm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But that's the one that says, I know how to do this.
But maybe that's the comfortable home spot that I don't need to be at all the time.
But that's the thing. You need to go back there when you are too challenged. It's not to stay there, but it's if you are too challenged with, I feel lonely.
Yeah.
That's the queen. She's like, I feel lonely up there. You need to rely on your male figure, on your king, to take your journey of abundance.
Okay.
He needs to do something. He needs to act.
It's action.
Action.
That's what it means.
That's action. You need to be in the
Take
action.
some kind of control and action
That's it.
in order to, which it could be creating something,
Absolutely.
in order to get back to,
To your path, which is choosing smart.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is your male figure, so to speak, your king, has been choosing from a default fear base. So you stop trusting him.
Yeah. And this just kind of clicked for me too, because it's like the action, my destination was train your psychic ability. So it kind of makes sense that like the action feeds showing me that my psychic abilities are doing the right thing.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
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 Ooh.
So
This is intense.
and that's the idea of trusting into your 3D. Trusting that you are taken care of already. That's what the king doesn't do. It's like, well, you know what? I need to pay my bills. No, it's already taken care of. And then he's just like, I don't see it. I know, because you don't need it in that very second. You only need it tomorrow. But what if? And then that's when it just separates.
You get disconnect.
That's it.
Yeah.
So you need to reconnect with him on his job is not to know the when and the how. His job is just to listen to the queen that says, trust me. It's already given. I've been given to you, and I will keep giving to you everything you need at the moment you need it.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so for him, it's just like, okay.
I know.
Right?
And like I have this little bit of me that's like, well, then I guess I'll do that. And then now I'm like, why can't you do it just right now? Like if we're present and we're our tools in every moment,
Right? So
do it right now.
because what's happening is the right now of the now of the 5D is not necessarily the now of the 3D,
Okay.
right? So the now of everything is always here and now in the 5D.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you said, I want to make $1 million now, it's created in the now of the 5D. Your potential, that possibility is already created. It will take you time.
I meant just believe it right now.
That's the thing. You have to start like, well, I just know that it's there already.
Oh, okay. Got you.
In order for me to transform it into reality, I have to densify that potential. That densification process is happening because we're creating space and time where we're infusing our awareness
Yes.
constantly, consistently, until we see that coming to life. From the beginning of my idea of the game to this, I knew it was created because I fished it. I was like, oh my gosh, it exists.
Yes.
It's there. But it took me years to consistently said, oh, I don't see you. That doesn't mean that it's not there yet. But my job is to give birth to you by knowing that you're existing and by continuing doing it until you come to life. I will not give up on you because I know you exist. And to me, it's the fun of the journey that is more important than the fun of
Yes.
The end is like, well, it's the end. We're there. It's it's important,
no
but
end,
it's
but
just, it's just a
no end anyway,
direction.
yeah. Yes,
right?
it is. It's just a direction.
Right. Okay. So what's the wisdom for you?
Okay. And then the last card is wisdom.
Yeah.
My wisdom says, I will help you see your beauty and your uniqueness. Angel Lofel?
Yeah. So there's an angel.
Iofel?
Lofel.
Lofel.
Yeah. So you have this energy in your environment that you can pull in, and that reminds you really where the king and the queen are disconnected.
Yeah.
It's like you do not see yourself as unique.
Okay.
And that's why
I'm working on it.
Yeah, because you were saying actually your number 5 is a good number for you.
Yeah.
Right? It's uniqueness.
Yeah.
So this is a call. Like I need to see myself as so unique that the universe wants to go through me to create a unique space, because that's where it's going to be the most powerful for you to be seen, and therefore to carry that prosperity with you, to be abundant in your version. Right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I was just working on that today.
Well,
this is incredible. Thank you so much for bringing this and giving me one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to use this. Do you use it in your regular life all the time?
Mm-hmm.
You do?
Well, you mean for me?
Yeah.
Oh, no, for I do it when I play with a group.
But you don't need it for yourself, really?
Because this is what's here.
Yeah.
This is how I work. Like this is how
You've already got the compass in your
that's
brain.
it. And we all do.
Uh-huh.
But it's and I have clients who started this, playing with this 8 years ago, and they no longer need it because they have integrated the way of feeling and sensing the answers.
Which is the idea, really.
That's it.
For us to use the tools until we don't need them anymore.
Right. Because we are the compass.
Yeah.
We know how to direct ourselves. We just have forgotten how to listen to the voice that is guiding us all the time. So that is a practice. It's a permission slip for people to practice how to learn again how to connect with themselves. When I first came to the States and I didn't speak English, I had to learn the language. And at first it's very awkward. I didn't understand the words. But then the more you practice it, the more you start being able to live around, because you can connect to your environment. And that's the same thing. The more we do it, the more we sense how this is already in us. It's not foreign that much, right?
Yes, and I totally believe that.
Right.
Absolutely. Like you've got it wherever you are.
That's it.
But sometimes we just need to remember.
What is interesting to me, it's when with the game, it's when we do it in a group where it creates essential conversation. My kids play it.
How old are they?
I think Charlie played 2 weeks ago and he's 14.
Okay.
But he first played, he was 10.
Cool.
Yeah. And, it's just, you're not telling them what to do. You're inviting them to answer their own question.
Mm-hmm.
It's so empowering because, again, the challenge of the duality with the authority parent for the child, especially when they start getting 10, 12 years old, is like, I know better. You don't know, you don't understand. I'm like, okay, well, I want to understand. Let's just play. Tell me, I want to understand you.
Yeah.
And they are, sharing. It's so powerful. So powerful.
Oh, I can't wait to do it with my kids.
Yeah. How old are you kids?
12 and 16.
Oh, well, so there you go.
2 girls. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The 12-year-old, we'll see. She's, very full of attitude right now.
Oh.
So full of it. So, yeah.
Which is what you need.
Is it? Apparently it is. Yeah, apparently it is. That's what I'm getting. So apparently that's what I need. Thank you so much for all this and just for spending your time here and walking me through this. I got so much out of this. It's exactly what I needed, what I needed to hear. And is there anything before we go that you feel called to share? I feel like what you just said was amazing, but anything else that you want to share before we go?
For me, it's really just a simple message, but it's, whenever we have more questions than answers, so then when we are more confused than clear, it is to refrain from looking outside. It is, the answers already are inside of us. It is just take a moment, ask yourself the question, and then take a write it. Just talk to yourself out loud.
Mm-hmm.
Just figure out that you are your own coach. You have the answers already. It's just, if you ask the question and you sit yourself like the coach, you're going to be like, okay, well, if I was a coach, how would I answer that person? Because we do it to everyone.
Yeah.
Right. But we don't do it with ourselves, which is unbelievable. Right. And so to me, it's really just remember who you truly are. Everything is already here and now. If you don't see it, it doesn't mean it's not here. It means that you need to elevate your perception where you can see it. If you are in a tower at the second level, a tower that has 100 floors, and you are the second level, you're not going to see outside as much as if you were on the 100th. Elevate your consciousness.
Good analogy.
Right? And that's the way. That's what I teach. That's what I believe in. That's what my journey been. And trust me, there's a lot more to see at the 100th one than getting stuck at the second. So that's the invitation. And
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, tell everybody how they can find you too. And I'll, of course, put links in the notes.
Okay. So everyone can find me on AlineHanle.com.
AlineHanle.
No, you got it. Faster than me. I love it. And then on Instagram, mostly, you can find me now.
Same name.
Hanle. Yep, that's it. Yep, yeah. And
That's
then in
beautiful.
Wimberley, if you walk around Wimberley, Texas, you'll find me too.
I want to walk around Wimberley.
Yes.
I love Wimberley. I haven't been in way too long.
There
So
you go. You're invited.
thank you so much. You are just such an angel.
Sure,
I just really loved it. You're a ray of sunshine.
Thank you so much for having me here with your team. That's awesome.
So glad. Thank you so much. Aline.
Great time. Thanks.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much to Aline Hanle. Ooh, I'm still blown away, and I can't wait to listen back because I want to hear that game again. And if you want to get a copy, highly recommend. I mean, it is gorgeous. It should be carried everywhere. It's ready for Target. So she needs to go to a mass scale for sure. And I just wanted to offer a little practice too before we go. Just around that mirror exercise, set your timer for 5 minutes and look in the mirror at yourself and see what happens. Tell yourself the things you need to hear. Maybe it's about self-love. Maybe it's about being chosen. What is it? Can you be your own coach? What do you need to hear? What do you need to hear right now? Can you look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself those things? And I know it's weird. It's super weird. But maybe we shift that too. No, let's normalize it. Let's normalize it. Let's make it something that we do and teach our children to do, because that's where I had that breakthrough. That's where I suddenly found gratitude. And I'm just still so blown away by what happened. And, I'm just going to keep telling myself the things I need to hear, because we got to look to ourselves for that security. Because that's what we got. Yeah. So I hope that you got something out of this today. I would love, love, love to hear your feedback. Hit us on Instagram. Tell us. I'll be posting about this and about the game. So you can comment, you can message me. I don't always see my Instagram messages if we aren't already following each other. So if perhaps I don't see it, you can always email me at amy@amyedwards.com. And on amyedwards.com is where you can sign up for the newsletter too, where I go a little deeper on all these things once a week and remind you of meditations or anything else that's coming out or books that I'm reading. Thank you, Sarah, for suggesting that. So that's been a new inclusion in the newsletter. So sign up for that. Please rate, review, subscribe, do all the things. And remember that you can find Aline at alinehanle.com or at Aline Hanle on Instagram, AlineHanle. And again, the game is called Cosmic Compass, and you can find the link too on her website. And it is really cool. It's so worth getting. I'm just so impressed by her. I mean, as I said, she walked in without me ever knowing her, and she walked out, and I was like, I went to the bathroom after she left, and I was like, what a badass. I was just blown away. So you just never know when people are going to come in your life and not only give you exactly what you need, but just blow your socks off and show you what's possible. So thank you to her. And thank you to you for being here. And we're constantly being shown what's possible. That's right. We don't have to compare. We don't have to think we're not good enough. We're just being shown what's possible because that's what we want to see. I know it's a process of getting there to believe it. Trust me, I know. Thank you so much for being here. Like I said, please rate, review, subscribe, all the things. Even if you just hit 5 stars, thank you so much for that. It matters. And my name is Amy Edwards. Remember, you can find me on Instagram too at Real Amy Edwards. And I'm wishing you all the things, the abundance, the health, the wealth, the peace, the joy, the happiness, the fulfillment, all of it to you. Till next time. Thank you so much for listening. If you liked this show, please rate and review. It totally matters. And I encourage you to spread the love too and share this episode with a friend if you feel called. Find me and my newsletter sign up at amyedwards.com. And you can also connect with me on Instagram at Real Amy Edwards or on Clubhouse at Amy Edwards, or write to me. It's amy@amyedwards.com.